Right. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Nigeria. You're welcome to newspaper review on Lagoon Radio. Today, the today, the 16th of September, time 9:33. You're welcome once again. My name is Bera Ubadinobi, and with me in the studio, it's my crew.
Good morning.
Did not mention it.
Good morning, everyone. I am Anasike Chimezi.
Yeah,
These
good
ones
morning.
they don't have names.
Their names are good morning.
Good morning. I'm Kayode Ezekiel. You're welcome.
Good morning, Amoyo. Sorry.
Okay, good morning. My name is Olumakaiye.
Okay, good morning. I just noticed, I like your haircut.
God bless you. Thank you.
I've just seen it actually.
Wow.
Okay.
Are we live?
Of
Yes.
course. See this one though.
No, for people to see
To
my
see your
haircut.
hair, okay now.
May someone don't
Okay.
jump Pentagon.
It is well. It is well.
Okay, straight to the newspaper for today.
Mm.
We have leadership. We have This Nigeria. We have Daily Trust, This Day, Daily Assets, The Daily Times, Daily Sun, National Economy, News Direct, Nigerian Tribune, Daily Independent, New Telegraph, and Blueprint. So on this day, on This Nigeria, the lead headline: PDP APC throws verbal punches over Buhari's loan request. It's reckless borrowing. Opposition squandered loans for 16 years. 1 million children shun school, says USF. Okonjo Iweala makes world influential list in 2021. Protesting Uniben student force VC to trek. Wow. Dangers ahead. Minister of Works and Housing, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, inspecting the dilapidated Ajebo Ogumakin flyover on Lagos Ibadan Expressway yesterday. And lastly, we have Yoruba Nation, IPOB agitators, same with Boko Haram. ISWAP says
Bajabiamila.
Bajabiamila. Sorry. Bajabiamila.
Don't spoil somebody's name.
That's all for
This day.
this
Nigeria.
Nigeria newspaper.
Yes, I have the leadership here. I have on the forefront of the paper, it says North, Southeast, presidential ticket. Southwest seeks party chairmanship. It's on the fourth page of the newspaper. Pick a copy and read more. Yes. On page 8, I have this. No stamp duty recoveries for 5 years. It's on page, says Fayemi. You know, he's the governor. I think he's the governor of the forum, the governorship forum.
Governorship Forum. Yeah, chairman.
Yeah.
Ekiti State Governor.
Ekiti State Government, Kayode Fayemi says that. Yeah, federal government to state. Yeah, no stamp duty recoveries for 5 years. On page 8 of that newspaper, Akwa Ibom, Enugu, Osun sign anti-open grazing laws. Is on page 10 of that newspaper. Another news says we have over 5,000 court cases. AMCON is on the 21st page of that newspaper. Okonjo Iweala makes time worth 100 most influential people on page 6 of that newspaper too. Yes, on COVID-19, Edo bars unvaccinated workers from offices. You can read more on that on the 8th page of that newspaper. Hey, on strike by the resident doctors. Federal government resident doctors agree to negotiate. That's a good news. On the 7th page of the newspaper leadership. Pick a copy and read more.
And on the Punch newspaper, you didn't mention the Punch when we were okay. And on the Punch, yes, National Assembly defends Buhari's 4.9 billion loan plan. APC, PDP clash over debt. All countries engage in deficit financing. We are still within borrowing limit. Senate. Buhari's loans for budget financing, not for looting, as done by PDP, says ruling party. APC borrowing to finance corrupt lifestyles of leaders and their cronies, alleges PDP. This is coming on the heels of the request of the president to borrow another $4.9 billion dollars loan. You remember that PDP, they are lamenting that they left the debt at it was lower lower than 20.
It was up to this level
million,
when they were in power.
The president is writing again to borrow another 4.9 billion.
Billion dollars.
Billion dollars.
Put dollars there.
Ezekiel, the APC, they have argued.
Yeah.
Sorry, Bera. It's like I'm taking the stuff from Bera. Looking at this, the APC, they've said that much of the money borrowed, that they have channeled into infrastructural development and the rest of them. And looking at what Peter Obi said on Sunday in a live television interview, he said we are borrowing for consumption.
Yeah. I saw the video too.
Did you believe on that? We are borrowing for consumption.
No. Chimize, I think maybe let's attempt this in this way. If we really want to know whether we're doing what the man said or not, let's just let's limit all the infrastructural engagement we are trying to put in place now. Let's halt them. And when you say the country is booming economic wise, it will definitely reflect in the lives of the people. It's because the people make up the country or the nation.
Okay.
You understand? Now, if it is not affecting lives, it is not changing lives positively, definitely we only have that development on paper.
Like they said last week that our GDP growth has increased.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Because, these are politicians, and we know how they do their things. Now, the question is, let's just halt all the engagement we are doing to make the infrastructural things we want in the country in place. You understand? Let's just halt them. And let's see the extent at which those things will take us. Then we will know whether, of course, we've borrowed, not for consumption.
Okay.
And mind you, we all know the answer. Yes, now, we know what is happening in the Senate. The judiciary, we know. The executive, we know what is happening there. So don't just go there. By the time we start digging, the government will be as if we are against the government. And mind you, I don't think it makes sense if you are borrowing and there's no aligned way. Let me just say that to pay all those debt. It will be like you are just causing rules for the coming generation. But it is well.
Okay, still on the Punch newspaper and still on the debt services. Nigeria price up 2.36 trillion debt stock in 3 months. Nigeria price up 2.36 trillion debt stock in 3 months. That's on page 19 of the Punch. NIS says oddly on EFCC watch list as ex-governor sues immigration. Page 27. Southern secessionists not different from Boko Haram. ISWAP. That's coming from the Speaker of the House of Reps, Femi Gbajabiamila. AGF writes 36 governors hints recovery of stamp duty arrears. From VAT now we are going to stamp duty. God will help us. Dollar scarcity hampering sale of Shell. Sale of Shell, 2.3 billion assets reports. That's on page 26 of the Punch newspaper. And still on the Punch, yes, gunmen invade Lagos farmhouse, kidnap businessman, shoot passerby. Page 4 and 5. Abiodun eyes federal government's 83.5 billion loan for Ogunkago Airport. Others. Lecturer sues Sanwo-Olu. Commissioner of Police over COVID-19 test demands 65 million damages. We'll go join this lecturer. Ezekiel.
No, I think maybe Chimeze will do that.
Reps demand probe of customs killings in Oyo communities. That's on page 8. And Osun open grazing law, defaulters risk 1 year imprisonment. Page 9.
It's small. 1 year is small.
Okay, restructuring Ota Abeokuta Road will cost. Okay, reconstructing Ota Abeokuta Road will cost 56 billion naira. That is coming from the Minister of Works.
You thank God they didn't put dollar there.
And bread, cereals, others push food inflation to 20.30%. And our GDP has grown. Page 19 of the Punch newspaper, and that's all on the Punch newspaper.
Okay. Don't forget you can log on to Lagoon.News, and on Instagram Lagoonradio.Ng, and on Twitter Lagoonradio.Ng, Facebook Lagoon Radio Nigeria for more information. And we are currently live on Facebook and on YouTube on LagoonTV.
Okay, on the Daily Times newspaper, we have on the front page, ban on Twitter to be lifted soon, says the federal government. Says government not unmindful of anxiety of Nigerians. FEC approves 38.4 billion naira for completion of road projects in 5 states. The story is on the front page of the Daily Times, and the continuation is on the page 2 of the Daily Times newspaper. Grab your copy. And also we have here, we'll talk to terrorists, bandits in language they understand. COAS.
We have another dictionary soon, don't worry. We have another dictionary soon.
I guess this is what our president said one time, like that I really caused a lot of problem on Twitter.
That's what I said.
That's what led to
the ban. Because this government actually gave us different words to include in our dictionary.
Sometimes if you want to learn
any words,
you join politics.
I tell you.
Well, you get that. It's on the front page of the Daily Times newspaper, and the continuation also on page 2 of the newspaper. And labor disputes, the need for federal government to trend the path of honor. The news is on the front page of the Daily Times newspaper. And also we have here 6-month-old baby among those who killed in Zangon Kataf. Family sources. Wow. You see the story on the front page. Also, the continuation is on the page 19.
Sorry, did you see the clip of that Zango Kataf attack? It was alleged that the Nigerian Air Force, the plane of Nigerian Air Force, were hitting the villagers.
I think they've come out to deny that.
But the governor has gone to pay condolence visits. And you saw the baby. You saw the baby. The last time it was in River State or Bayelsa that the military incidentally shot passengers on boat. And in the same note, the Nigerian Air Force were shooting the Nigerian army mistakenly.
Well, I think, Chimeze, I think it is hard to believe the Nigerian army now. Ever since...
Have you ever believed them before?
No, I used to.
You used to?
I used to. But ever since the incident that happened in Lekki Toll Gate, I tell you I stopped. So whether it happened or not, well, it is well.
Well, it is well. You've said it. So now Nigerian can unlock $34 billion remittance through BDCs. Okay. Yes, the story is on the one corner of the Daily Times paper, and the continuation on the page 16 of the newspaper. I think that's all we have here. And 16 nurses told to quit. You said the story there. I know that's a former news. It's not a news story. So anyway, just grab your copy, the Daily Times paper, and read through.
Okay, on Nigerian Tribune. The front page of Nigerian Tribune owed 35.5 trillion by June 2021. Malami Right government says no recovery since 2016. You can see that on page 2. After 23 years, Southwest set to produce PDP chairman. You can see that on page 21. Working to formalize 10 trillion CBN overdraft. You can see that in page 6. Economic realities forced us into borrowing to pay salaries. Akeredolu. External borrowings for benefit of Nigerians. APC replies PDP. You can see that on page 6 of the newspaper. Unibank cancels 20,000 late registration fee. VC apologize. Page 13.
VC won't say crazy.
Edo government bars unvaccinated civil servants, visitors from secretariat. You can see that on page 3. Osun Akwa Ibom government sign anti-open grazing bill into law. You can see that on page 25 of the newspaper. 1 million Nigerian children to miss school resumption due to insecurity. You can see that on page 3 of the newspaper. Leave allocation formula focus on improving IGR. RMAFC tells states LGS. You can see that on page 6. Southeast Caucus lawmakers seek soft landing for Kanu. You can also see that on page 6 of the newspaper. Okonjo Iweala makes list of times 100 most influential people. Doctor strike. Court to rule tomorrow as parties agree on negotiation. You can see that on page 3 of the newspaper.
It is well.
Is it not shameful that Nigerian government is taking their lawyers to court?
I tell you.
Is that not shameful?
Cruise.
I think Sheyi is part of the ministry. Cruz.
Is it?
The country we see ourselves in, there's nothing.
There's nothing we can do.
No.
There is another-
But it's very, very so unfortunate.
Bera, don't say there's nothing we can do.
So what can
We have a lot to do because I think these people leading us, they are part of the society.
So
If
what
he-
should we do now?
What do we, the citizens, do?
Wait, you didn't get me. You said there's nothing we can do. Of course, we have a lot to do. If you happen to be a governor someday, then you make a difference. That's what you will do. It's part of what you will
What
do.
she's trying to
We
say
get
that we are
to that
handicapped
place.
right now because no
Where?
matter how you try, there's nothing.
Can do.
Where?
And also,
we are all
okay,
casualties.
talking about
JP
what
Clark.
citizens can do. We saw the day before yesterday and yesterday, the students of Uniben.
Mm.
There was one headline that said they forced the VC
The
to
visit
trek.
to trek, yeah.
Now, this is where insensitivity comes in. You increase school fees to 43,000 naira or 40 something thousand naira thereabouts, and you're now bringing up a late payment for students that have not paid. Don't you think in your right senses that if I have the money or if the students have the money,
I would
they
have
will pay?
paid.
And when I look at these things, my pain is just that most of these people are the hem of affairs now. We are the ones that enjoyed free education and scholarships. We hardly get scholarship these days.
Well,
But
Ayo.
these
maybe a
ones-
foundation, sha.
that's what. But hardly you get from politicians and well, this is
That one is not even too much. I don't want to mention the name of the school.
okay.
But I just confirmed yesterday that if you just get admitted like this, a federal school for that matter, you will pay more than 50,000 naira for merely accepting the admission.
While before you may finish school, maybe if it takes you 10 years to come and clear yourself, you cannot go to service because you must definitely do the clearance. But now, why are they forcing students to? God will help us.
Amen.
well.
Oh, it is well. It is well. Okay.
Okay, quickly, let's take this one. Daily Sun. Khan expresses worries over migration of Boko Haram to Kaduna. Says it's dangerous, bad omen. That can be found on page 3 of the Sun newspaper. Government soon lifts ban on Twitter, says minister. Page 26 on Sun newspaper.
I think, okay, Lai Mohammed, right?
You're Ghana.
It's your uncle now. Your
Yes.
uncle.
Okay.
Stamp duty. FG fights back, insists governors must comply. This can be found on page 6. It's shocking Yoruba nation is supporting IPOB, says presidency. This can be found on page 8. Nigeria's external debt hits 35 trillion naira.
Praise the Lord.
36 trillion naira.
Hallelujah.
This can be found on page 25. PAP uncovers 400 duplicated names in payroll.
Ghost workers.
They no go finish. They no go finish for Nigeria.
Ohaneze to engage Uzodimma Obiano on anti-open grazing law. On anti-open grazing law, this can be found on page 7. Strike ends in sight as doctors agree with MOU with federal government. Government NMA adjourns hazard allowance negotiation to next week. They are insensitive, says
the governor of labor. The minister of labor. Maybe after the doctors now will face ASU. ASU is coming up.
ASU is coming
Maybe
up.
They are still waiting.
These can be found on page 6. And Udom Oyetola signs anti-opening grazing bill into law. These can be found on page 7. That's all we have for the Daily Sun newspaper.
Okay, and on the Daily Independent, we have on the front page of the newspaper, we have the Yoruba Nation agitators bond with hip-hop worries presidency. Now them sabi, then they fear.
They are afraid now. You know, that's one thing the government, the politicians are afraid of. They are afraid of the unity of the common masses.
That's the one.
And that's because the masses, they have failed to understand the power that they have.
They have.
If we can come together in unison, my brother, these politics...
Vera, do you see what we can do now? We can do a lot too.
I hope so. Separationists leading nation to destruction, says Bajabia Miller. And says reps to prioritize efforts at famine security architecture. You get a story on the page 6 of Daily Independence, and the university students kidnap VC, force her to resign decision on school closure.
Well,
This
it
newspaper
wasn't a
headline,
kidnap.
This the headline, I don't understand though. Anyway,
Kidnap, where?
as on the you get the story on the front page of the Independence News, Daily Independence, and the continuation on page 4. And on strike, for the government, doctors, negotiations, and in deadlock. Okay, the story is on the front page and continues on the page 30. And passport seizure. Rivers Governor Odili on EFCC watch list. Immigration tells court, page 6 of the Daily Independence. And Nigeria records 100 cholera deaths in 4 months, page 7. And Nigerian to lift ban on Twitter in few days. Okay, thank you, Lai Mohammed. You get a story on page 7. And inflation records fifth decline in 2021, drops to 17.1% in August. The story is on the page 7. And the Southwest leaders make strong demand for chairman slots. The story is on that's PDP on PDP National Convention. The story is on the front page and the continuation on the page 4. And federal government okays 3.4 billion naira road projects in Anambra, Benue, Bayelsa, and others. Okay, page 7. And the Southeast NAS CACOS to interface with federal government, orders over Nnamdi Kanu. You get the story on the page 2 of the Daily Independence. That's all we have. Grab your copy and read the story.
Okay. Our time is fast spent. It's 3 minutes to 10. Okay, thank you all for staying tuned, and thank you, my crew, for joining in. So that's all we have for today on newspaper review. For more information on recent happenings, do well to log into Lagoon.News, and on Instagram, Lagoonradio.Ng, on Twitter, Lagoonradio.Ng, on Facebook, Lagoon Radio Nigeria. We are currently live
Are we still
you
live?
can also- we are still live. We are still live.
We are about to
We are
We are about
live.
to leave.
We are
still
alive.
live.
We are alive and live.
We are still live. And you can subscribe to our YouTube channel at LagoonTV. Thank you all for joining in.
Yeah.
We are signing out now.
Thank you.
And stay